Welcome back to the Compound Podcast. This is episode 130, presented by Parse Rum. When I say Parse, you say
Rum.
What was I doing there? What am I doing?
I think it's a spring No, where is this? Did you hit a ball hard at wherever you were today?
Always.
Like,
he always does.
Looks like it's Miami. Did he hit one hard at Miami?
That's what I thought it was
Yeah,
too.
I hit some hard in Miami.
It's a good swing.
Thanks. I have a good swing. Parse Rum is my favorite rum. It's your favorite rum. We all love rum. You know what is a thing that happens?
I drank some yesterday.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I gave a few bottles out at the end of the year.
Did you give one to your pitching coach? Oh no.
Oh no.
He's
Sorry,
gonna
Bach.
hate both of us now.
Sorry,
He's
Bach.
already mad at me.
Yeah, you actually lied to him though.
I didn't have any to give him. I legit would have brought one into the field if I had one to give him.
Guess you
No,
don't
it
want
was,
to plant a tree.
it was here in Michigan. I didn't have it in Iowa.
You know what happens to me sometimes? Tell me if this happens to you.
Mhm.
Somebody will just scream in the stands. What I say, Parse, you say rum.
Yes, all the time.
And then I'm like, well, are you going to say Parse? Because if you don't say Parse, I can't say rum.
I think
And then they just don't say Parse.
I get that more than people that actually remember to say Parse. Like I think it's more often that they're like, when I say Parse, you say rum, and then they just look at me and I'm like,
I think
You gotta say
it's them showing like, hey, we listen.
Yeah.
But it's not asking for like
Oh.
a response.
I love it still. I respect it. Keep
No,
doing it.
I also love it. I got a good one at Cincinnati. It was the stadium was not all that full in Cincinnati today, and it was very loud.
What do you mean?
What? It was very loud when I say Parse, you say rum, but then there was no follow up. So
You mean to tell me that on October 3rd, the 61-99 Reds versus 73 and 87 Cubs didn't draw a crowd? What?
You know, Cubbies are hot though. Cubbies are hot. Look out. Cubbies are trying to make sure that the Cincinnati Reds lose 100 games and that the Cubbies finish as close to 500 as humanly possible.
Yeah. I mean, the best, what you got, 2 left? You could get to 75 and 88.
That'd be pretty
Third.
impressive.
That's bad math. 75 and 87. Sorry.
Oh, I
Yep,
was gonna say
That's good math. That's good
Okay,
math.
yeah.
Whew. Tom, I need a fact check on this. Check. But I saw maybe a tweet, maybe an Instagram, maybe something stiff on the social media that this weekend was the best attended final weekend of the regular season since 2014.
I saw a similar stat. I think it was it was a lot of tickets. I was going to try to say the number off the top of my head, but I don't know. I will try to find it for you.
It's okay. There is a broad concern within the industry that the amount of individuals coming to games is lower than it keeps getting lower, and that the product on the field needs to be more entertaining so that more people come to the ball yard. But it is very nice to see that this weekend people came out and they were very excited to see their team for the last time. I know at Wrigley, it was a really cool scene. We finished the last game. We had good attendance for the last 3, but we swept the Reds. We finished the last game. And, when we finish, we go out there, we wave to the fans. We give them a hi, thanks for coming, fan appreciation. And they were playing Go Cubs Go. And then the entire team sang Go Cubs Go with the fans. And that was a very, very cool moment to end the season at Wrigley.
Do you know all the words?
Yeah, when the song's playing with me, I know every single word.
Couldn't do it right now.
I'll help you. I'll sing.
Could you sing the whole thing, Tom?
I was just actually talking about this on a different podcast. I listened to this song probably 700 times after the Cubs won the World Series in 2016. My best friend Mike, every party we would go to, he would sneak it onto the playlist. So it'd be, whatever songs you can imagine you were listening to in 2016. And then in the middle of that, Go Cubs Go. So I do think I would know the second verse is where I would get tripped up. I didn't know the entire first verse. Second verse is like getting tricky.
Yeah, that's what happens. Is when you start to get into the second verse, things get a little sideways. But it is the best. I am very biased, but it is the best winning end of the game win song of any team in the big leagues by far. No question.
It's not cooler than New York, New York?
No, it is cooler than New York.
You think it's cooler than New York, New York?
I do.
Ian, come on.
It's an original song. It's an original song for the Cubs. It is written just for the Cubs.
I'm a Yankees fan, and I would still say and maybe this is because I have a personal attachment to it for reasons I just explained. But I still remember I got to see in 2016. I got to see Chapman close down a game against the Reds when he was peak Chapman. Incredible, one of the most incredible experiences I've ever seen. And then I didn't know they played Go. I mean, I guess I was a bad baseball fan. I didn't know they played Go Cubs Go.
Yeah, you would know.
And I hadn't really heard it before. And I looked at my friend and I was like, what is this? This is incredible. I think it's 1 and 2 with New York, and I would probably put Go Cubs Go first, but it's very close. I love both. I think both are great.
Honestly, I don't even think it's a question. I'm again very biased, but I don't think it's a question. I think it's a song written for the Cubs, completely and totally about the Cubs, and it is absolutely electric.
We should have recorded this part in July or August or whatever when the trade deadline was. See what you would have said there. I don't know if you would have been bashing New York there when you're.
I'm not bashing it. It's a great. I'm not bashing. There's no bashing. It is a great win song. There's a lot of bad win songs out there. New York is fantastic. The fans get behind it. It is very fitting, but it is not an original song written for the team. And Go Cubs Go. And with the W flag too. What a combo.
I think the coolest thing about the flag is really cool when they hang it up. And the story was, what is it, years ago when they would see it on the way home from work, like from the train, you could see if the Cubs won, because they would play so many day games, and if the W was up, they won. Obviously, I thought that was really cool.
Very cool, and they still do it to this day. They still hang the W flag or the L flag to let people know what happened in the game that day.
There's an L flag.
There's also an L flag. Yeah, they had to let people know if it was a win or a loss.
I didn't know that's an L flag.
They fly an L flag?
They have to. Yeah, it's tradition.
Fly? That's weird. That's really weird.
I feel like if you just didn't see the W, you would know, right? If you saw no W.
I could be wrong. On this, but I'm 95.7% sure.
I want to look this up.
I think they still do fly the L flag when they lost. I think, and it's tradition. You gotta let the people know. Zach, is this a new addition behind you? Your jersey?
No, well, no. Kind of. I'm at my parents' house, and I got them that for Christmas this year. It was my first jersey, and I wrote something on it.
Why didn't you get it for me? That's kind of fucked. I would have liked it.
I can get you one.
Don't make promises you ain't gonna keep.
I can get you one. What do you mean?
I want a ZS59 Toledo Mud Hen jersey.
No. I'll get you one next year.
Guys, well, we're on the subject.
We'll jersey swap. If I'm back in Iowa and you're back in Toledo, we should have this time. Oh, what are we doing?
That would have been really good.
That would have been so funny if we're taking our jerseys off.
That would have been really good.
Guys.
Sorry. Yes.
Did you guys just play each other?
Like a week ago.
Yeah, did the last time we recorded. Did you face each other?
Yeah, I hit him again.
Tell a story. Go.
I mean, it was classic.
It was actually a pretty good pitch. It was a pretty good pitch.
It was a great two-seam. I couldn't believe you stayed in there.
Yeah.
So I threw like shit. Came in and walked the first guy. Second guy jammed it back to me. PFP error. Clanked it. Walked the next guy to bring up Zach. So that's a good start to it. I think 2 walks and an error. Mound visit. RV, our pitching coach, says he's going to swing. What are you going to throw him? I said, 2-seam in. I said, we're getting a ground ball. And we went 2-seam in. Zach, kind of started his, not even half swung, but, started his swing. 2-seam moved more than I thought. Hit him on the back arm, I think, the right arm.
Back elbow.
Ow.
Got my
it didn't hit him, hard.
It wasn't flush. I got lucky.
Hey, this guy's been hit up and in a bunch. That's fucked.
It wasn't up
Stay out of there.
It was
Stay out of that kitchen.
It was at your belly button height.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't. I got lucky, but it wasn't too bad. That's funny how RV says I'm gonna swing.
Just because it was bases loaded, nobody out. You guys were down 3. He's swinging. I was like, I know. I was like, but he's seen me throw him sliders every at bat. I said, let's go 2-seam in.
It's funny because I didn't really know what I was expecting. I knew that you wanted a ground ball, but then I also knew that you knew that my hot spot was down and in. So I was like, okay, probably not coming in. So when it started in, I was like, oh, that's a hanging slider. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have time to recognize it.
You don't throw hangers.
My slider is by far my worst pitch.
Getting ready to swing, and then by that time it was off my elbow, and I was a little bit of throb. But I will say that heater came out way better than the ones that you threw me before, like earlier in the year. And
oh yeah, the early in the year compared to the last 2 times I faced you, night and day difference.
And I believe if you fielded that ground ball, the inning completely
100%. I couldn't believe it. I ran over to it. I went to field it. Must have had some spin or something. Hit me right off the wrist. Bounced away.
I saw it the whole way. I was like, you could tell like where it hit around home plate. I was like, he's going to get an in between hop. He's getting an in between hop.
And there was a guy on first, so I'm like 2-2-2-2-2-2-2, and I'm starting to spin to make the throw. And my big ass, like it's a lot of body part to turn around. So I'm going to field it, and I like don't field the ball, and I start to turn. I'm like, I look at my third base, and I'm like, that did not just happen. I go, come on, man, that's not real. It was great times. Good one to end on. You know, I love a great bad last outing.
Can you tell me about JY, Jared Young, for all the listeners out there?
It was the coolest thing ever.
Jared
my
Young,
God.
Jared Young gets sent down. He gets optioned from the
very last day of the minor league season.
Yeah, he gets optioned from the big league team. He had been awesome up here. He had been super positive, really fun guy to be around. Wilson was coming off the IL. Saya was coming off the IL. So Jared Young got the short end of the stick there, and he was optioned back to AAA. AAA had 1 game left, literally a game, last game of the season, and it was a noon.
Yes, a nooner.
Noon start. Very easy in that situation to say, I'm good. Thanks for the year. I'm going to take it to the house. I've seen enough. JY did the opposite. He called the AAA manager and he said, put me in the lineup. I'm going to hit a home run tomorrow.
He also walked into the field that morning and goes, Peeve, walks straight into his office. He goes, I'm in the lineup, right? I better be in that lineup. And Peeve's like, you're in there. You're in the lineup.
Dude, that's just a classic case of the game rewarding you.
Yeah.
Classic. Because earlier in that day,
you're getting ahead of the story.
I was like, we didn't even say what happened yet.
So he goes down. He starts in the noon game.
Mm-hmm.
This is literally, he flew in. Did he fly in the
night before? He got in the night before at like 10 o'clock.
And then slept that night, woke up for the noon game, goes to the field, he's in the lineup. He's 1 for 3 going into 1 for 4. 1 for 4.
1 for 3. I think it was only
1
3
for
because it was a quick
in,
game.
Going into his last at bat. And
we're down 1. We're down 1 going into the ninth.
The Iowa Cubs are down 1 going into the 9th.
Crook comes to the plate. Narciso Crook gets hit by a pitch. He's pissed. Crook's like, fuck, I wanted to hit a homer. Damn.
He was at 19 homers too.
Yeah, he really wanted. He's like, come on, like, let me hit. And he gets hit and he's pissed. JY comes up. I literally look at Huddy in the bullpen. I go, you realize like we're running to home if he hits a bomb here. Like if we walk this off, like it's the last game of the year, like we're running to home. He goes, hell yeah, we'll grab the cooler. So we grabbed JY's up at the plate. I don't know what the count was, like 1-1 or something.
1-1 change up.
Hits one. There was a change up too.
Yes.
You got to tell your pitchers he loves it down there. Down and away. He loves going to left center.
It's insane. You know what's funny is like, Hap, you've had those days where you just like swing through heaters and you're just like, I have no idea. Like, so JY struck out, I think twice.
3 straight pitches that one.
Yeah, he was just swinging at heaters and like just off of them. And you can tell because I've been there where I think he struck out the second time. He swung through the third one, and you can just tell he was like, "What the fuck?" And I was
feel like there's a hole in your back.
That's a scary place to be because you're like, "Why am I missing this? There's something wrong. It's a heater. I know it's coming, and you're still not hitting it." And then when he gets up the third or the last time, I was like, "Fuck!" Like either the game's gonna reward him, or the game is gonna go grab your gloves, see you next year.
And so to get to the end of the story, for all listeners, because they're trying to follow the story, he gets a changeup. He hits a walk-off home run. He gets optioned down. He says, I want to play in the game today. I want it. He then hits a walk-off homer to end his season, to end the Iowa Cubs season. Legendary move from JY. I'm a big JY fan. We haven't spent a lot of time together. Big JY fan.
I wish there was a camera view. I bet there is from like way up behind home because our whole bullpen just takes off sprinting to home as soon as he hits it.
I looked at you because I didn't really move. As soon as he hit it, I just put my head down. I was like, God damn. I was like, you know what? Cool for JY. But then I look over.
Yeah, but you can't show that emotion on the field.
No,
you're like crap, awesome, crap.
And I was like, attaboy, JY.
Yeah.
No, like I look down and I look over at Dakota and I see him and Huddy with the water thing, and I was just like, oh, it's fucking great.
And CD Pelham was running in front of us, and he ran over the mound and must have like caught it on the side, and he just fell. He just fell completely on his ass. So me and Huddy are running, carrying a cooler, and we're pointing back like, oh my God. But we just keep running. Like we had to leave him.
He did. I remember seeing that now.
Wow.
And we get to home and it's just like nuts. Like everyone was just like excited we're done, like excited we're going home. And what a sick way to end the season. It was so cool.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Mm-hmm.
How's it feel to be done?
It's always bittersweet. Zach had a different season than I did, but like I missed the first 6 weeks and then I was on the dev list for another 4 weeks. So like for me, I was like, man, I feel like I was just starting to throw good. Like I was just starting to get in a groove. Like I wanted to keep playing, but at the same time, like it's nice to get home and rest. It just gets boring after a little while.
You said Dakota,
mm-hmm.
and you tell me if you don't want to talk about this, but you said that it was a little bit of an emotional end to the season for you this time.
It was because I'm a free agent now. Well, after the World Series, technically, but I went and said bye to RV, and RV was when we first got drafted, he was the rehab coordinator in Arizona. So he was the first coach we had in pro ball. And then he was in AAA the last 2 years. And I don't know. I went to say bye to the coaches and I kind of started crying. And Peeve's like, you all right? I was like, yeah, Peeve, we've been together. I mean, I got called up to AAA in 2018. So I played for Peavy for 4 years because he was there at the alt site too. And I don't know. I just kind of got choked up. I was like, man, a lot of good memories. Like, I don't know if I'm going to sign back, what's going to happen. So it was just, I don't know, kind of all came together.
You've been with the organization since?
16. Got drafted in 16.
Long time.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is, it's like you truly become like best friends with some of these guys for 6-7 months. And then all of a sudden it's like season ends, your flight's that night. And then it's, hey man, may never, ever, ever see you again. Ever. In the history, like in the future of the world.
And I said to Zach, it wasn't even like there are guys you've played with since like I got drafted with Wyatt Short and Brian Hudson and Teddy Payne. Like I've played with them for 7 years. Like I've known them forever. And it's like, hey, like might never see you again. Best of luck. It's just weird. It's really weird.
That's what, like, I'm with you, Dakota, about being bittersweet. It's bittersweet every year. And especially if you don't have like the year you wanted to have, you kind of have like the salty taste in your mouth. But at the same time, you know, you can use that salt and just kind of remember what it tastes like at the end of the year going in through all your workouts. Sounds cheesy, but like it's truly, you know, I mean, it's a long off season. There's some days where you wake up and you're like, I want nothing to do with getting up and going to work out with the same exact routine you have every single day for 4 months.
And it's both ways, because in season there are days where you're like, man, I just can't wait for the off season. Like this sucks right now. Like I'm sucking. I don't like going to the field. But then you get to the off season, you're like, man, that's like a couple weeks in. A couple weeks are nice at home. Like you see your family, you see your friends, you get to do things you couldn't do in season. But then it gets to like November and you're like, all right, like I'm really bored now. Let's get back to playing baseball.
The day that the last game of the year, we were in the airport just having fun or whatever. And like, we're like, hey, guess what we don't have to do tomorrow? We're like, face 97. Just like Latin. Like, it's like you don't wake up and you're like, man, I'm not worried about who I'm facing today.
Well, and that's what someone said it in our locker room. It's like the anxiousness, like even for you guys, like it's not nervousness to go play, but it's just the anxiousness of playing every day, like getting prepared, getting ready for the game. And then in the off season, it's like, man, I can go work out at 4 PM if I want. Like I got nothing to do today. There's no problems.
Zach, how many plate appearances this year?
I had a lot. I had, I want to say over 500, I think.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Like you played every single game.
Yeah. Me too. I feel like you played every day.
Yeah. And that's kind of tough too towards the end. Like if you're getting yourself, you know, if you feel hot, you know, you get a few hots or a few hits, and your average does nothing. So it's like,
it doesn't move at all.
Kind of stinks. You get hot towards the end of the year and it quite literally does nothing.
Tom fact checked how many?
559 minor league at bats, 13 big league ABs. Or those are played. I guess that's technically plate appearances.
Dude, that's for the up and down thing and like hanging out in cities and not knowing if you're going to play and stuff. That is literally every single day. There's a fuck ton of at bats.
Yeah, no, it is. And
can I say one thing? Sorry.
Go ahead.
It is not easy to stay healthy. It is not easy to be out there. And for you to be available and healthy the entire year, kudos. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, you know, and
I tried to end it with an injury.
It's yeah, I mean, it's different in AAA because you have an off day every week. But like, you know, my manager was pretty good with like, hey man, you good? Need a day? And it's like, no, like, you know, there's a lot to be said about the guys who play there every day, who no matter what, you know, whether you're hitting first, second, 7th, 8th, 9th, it's like, hey man, like I don't care. I'm still gonna go out there, try to post. But you know, if you're not doing one thing, you're gonna try to do the other. And you know, I think it's just a give and take where it's like, hey, I feel like shit, I could use a day, or it's like, hey, I feel like shit. Let's find a way through it, you know, and
especially for you.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to get back up, and a day off is like, that's one less day.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, I'm kind of stubborn where it's like, hey man, if I sit, I'm giving somebody else an opportunity to play. And you know, it sounds like a shitty teammate thing to say, but I don't mean it like that, but it's like,
that's how it is.
The dog eat dog world out there. You know, I'm not trying to give anybody else at bats or chances on the defensive side of the baseball. So
and I mean, it's a sick learning experience to go out there and like do it every single day. Like for what it takes from a mental standpoint, from a physical standpoint, to go out there every single day and post. Like you have to learn how to do that at some point. And like for you to be able to do that every fucking day this year, that's a big deal. Big deal.
Yeah. And, you know, it makes it a lot easier too. Like we had such a fun team this year too. And, you know, again, it's just the kudos. You know, we always say how much AAA has changed. Like in 19, you know, I was the youngest guy in 24. Like I was 24 years old in AAA and I was like walking on eggshells.
Damn, really?
Yeah. Like that year I was the youngest guy.
That was a bad team. That was
right. And it's like,
that was a great team. It was
awesome.
Not my favorite time, but it was a great team.
Yeah. And that's kind of, you know, we had guys in that locker room who were up and down a bunch. You've had a bunch of time, but it wasn't like, you know, the scary stories that you hear of AAA of the salty, we didn't have that salty team at all. You know, Deuce was great.
You always have a couple, but
right.
Yeah.
But
our overall.
Right. And
the team that I played on in 17 was much more salty than that team. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a kudos to, you know, everybody on that team. It's like nobody wants AAA is the worst place to be. You know, I mean, relatively speaking, it's like
correct.
You get moved up there and you're like, wow, I'm one step away, or you get sent down. So, you know, to make that such an enjoyable year while like spending basically the whole year in AAA, like we had such a special team, and it truly was one of the most fun teams I've ever been a part of.
But not as fun as 19.
Correct.
Thank you.
Even though I didn't travel with you guys because I was hurt.
I had a manager once say it was summer ball. So, you know, by the end of summer ball, a lot of guys are a little checked out. I think you guys know that. But it was a championship game. And before we left for the bus, we were on the bus going to the next to the park. He said, look around. These 30 guys will never be together again. Look to the guy to your right. Look to your guy to your left. Think about all the great times you've had. I know you're tired. I know you want this to be over. But think about that, you're never going to be with these guys again and what it means to play one more time. I mean, now it still gets me like, you know, emotional. You think about all the time that you guys spend with your teammates. And then as you just said, some of them you'll literally never see again, even though you just spent the last 6 months grinding with them. I think it's one of those few things that like, if you haven't been around a baseball team, it's very hard to describe, especially in the minors where you guys are competing not only with each other, but against each other in some ways. But as you said, that's the coolest part about the playoffs as well. When you get to any level, especially in the minors, it's the one time where it's like, all right, we're all doing this as a team to push together towards one goal. It's the coolest thing.
I got two things. One about what you just said, you know, whatever level of playoffs. Dakota, in 2016, when we got drafted, we went to Eugene and won that year. Mm-hmm. I'll never forget, like, the guys who were in extended and they grinded that whole time up until, because short season starts in what, June or July after the draft? Like, yeah, you know, they were all emotional. Like, you guys have no idea what it was like to grind all year. And I was like, what do you mean? We only played 40 games. Like, what? And they were like, no, like, we were out there grinding every day with no fans on the backfields of extended spring training, and we don't care that it was the lowest level of the minor leagues and we won a championship. Like, it just proves, Tom, like what you said, like that shit goes a long way, no matter where you are, whenever you win. And whenever, like what you said as well, like this group will never be around. Like whenever I give a speech or talk to kids, I always say, you know, like, hey, enjoy this time that you're playing with right now, even if it's winter workouts for once a week or twice a week. Like some of your, especially in high school, these are some of your best friends. You know, you're not going to have that luxury in 2 years when you guys graduate. And that's almost what it's like. You know, like game 100 in August, you're like, man, this fucking blows, but you're having a blast for the most part with some of the guys that A, you've never met before, and B, that you'll never see again when the season's over.
I'm going to do something that doesn't really fit with the conversation.
Okay.
But I might tie it back in. Maybe I won't, maybe I will.
Speak.
It's October.
It is.
You know what Manscaped wants us to do?
What's that?
A crazy ad about Halloween. Okay.
I saw this one. I was like, I don't think Ian's going to follow.
They want us to go crazy.
Do you want me to
Halloween,
do
it? And they want this thing to turn into a bloodbath.
Okay.
We're not going to go there. Okay.
I mean, I'll do it if you want me. If you don't feel comfortable,
if you want to read this ad, feel free.
I don't really want to. I don't know if I want to, but I mean,
I'm opening it up. I'll chime in. I don't care.
I mean, get in there.
All right,
get in there and check it out. No, let's have Dakota. Right. I want Dakota to open it first.
Yeah. Read the first line and just go for it.
Get in there, Dakota.
Ow. Oh my God. Fuck. Oh no, it's a bloodbath. Hang on, I can't see it. This thing's in the way. Oh no, it's a bloodbath in here. There's got to be a better way to get my dagger clean and shiny safely than this. This is what I used to deal with when I cut myself shaving before I knew about Manscaped. Thank you, Manscaped, for keeping my dagger slick and ready for wherever the night takes me. Manscaped is trusted by over 6 million men worldwide. Join the movement by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code COMPOUND.
Nice job.
Gotta keep the dagger slick.
Keep your dagger slick. Not where I would have gone, but you know what? I love Manscaped. You guys, if you're into Manscaped, we're all into Manscaped. We all like the products. Are we still doing the lawnmower 4.0 with the light? The weed whacker ear nose hair trimmer. We love that.
Yeah.
Manscaped is doing something new. Okay, they're doing something new. Maybe it's new, maybe it's not new. Manscaped is doing 2 free gifts in the Performance Package 4.0. I've been telling people about the Performance Package 4.0 with the lawnmower 4.0 trimmer with the light. Okay. But they're doing 2 free gifts with it. We got the boxers, we got the travel bag, we got 20% off plus free shipping. Code compound, manscaped.com, 20% off free shipping. They're into this October theme, spooky season, 20% off free shipping, code compound. I'm going to change gears on us.
I mean, are we going to talk about the 2-2 Jets?
We're not going to talk about 2-2 Jets.
3-1.
You know what?
3-1 Giants.